go, Mike!
You know you're already in trouble when I start walking around. So anyway, before I begin today, I've got a video for Jim and Gerta. If you don't know this, Jim was the best man at his friend Jared's wedding, and this was what, 3 years ago? About 3 years ago. And at that ceremony, Jimmy pulled out one of the great best man speeches of all time. He took the Hanukkah song that Adam Sandler has made famous, he changed all the words and he sung it to the bride and groom. So when you've got this as the standard, you're kind of screwed, even if you've been preparing for this for at least a decade for me. So I thought really hard about what could I possibly do, what could I possibly give these two that I couldn't sing. You've seen me dance, and it's not pretty. So I thought, okay, I'm going to come up with what I think is a pretty cool video. If you guys want to stand up so you can see it, I'm going to ask my Aunt Linny if she can just squeeze a little bit. Anybody that can't see the TV, I apologize. Give it your best look. Man, are we ready to go? Yeah. Are we okay on the volume, we think?
We'll see.
Jim and Gerta.
Turn it up. Pretty good.
Take care of any problems you have once you get married.
Jackson, former All-American.
And I want to wish you a great wedding. Congratulations to you. And Mike will take care of any problems you have.
I'm Marlon Jackson, former All-American. Football champion. Jim, I know we have a little bit of history. West Quad, South Quad, Snowball Quad. Congratulations to your wife for your marriage. Congratulations. Guys. Big Jim, this is John DeMar, back in Michigan. What I hear, congratulations. Jim and Gerta, this is Karen Jones, not former, always Michigan Wolverine. Super Bowl champion, all pro linebacker Karen Jones. I just want to wish you guys a happy, very years to come. Wish you health, love, peace, prosperity, and enjoy this thing they call marriage. Enjoy each other. Wish you happy marriage and wedding day.
It's great. Go to Jim.
Congratulations on your big year coming up. All with this former outside linebacker, DE, Oakland Raiders, U of L, Gold Blue. Congratulations.
Hey, what's up? This is my team, Cleveland. I want to speak to all my Spartan fans. Stay strong, but at the end of the day, congratulations, everything. I wish you nothing but success and blessings in your whole way.
Yeah! Woo! Attaboy, Mike! Attaboy, Mike! Attaboy, Mike!
So, if the rest of the speech sucks, at least I did that. The crazy thing about this speech, for me, is that I think when you guys got engaged back in February, yeah, it was in the winter. Listen, our winter this year, how can you remember what was what, right? But I think Jimmy said to me, man, you've probably been writing this speech for a decade, and it was just a matter of filling that girl in. And as I'm going to demonstrate pretty soon here, it's not about any girl, because Gerta is the girl. The girl. So I haven't been writing it for 10 years, I've been writing it for about 6 months. And in these 6 months, I've gone through a lot of revisions. The other day, I woke up at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I had this thing nailed. absolutely nailed. And then yesterday took place. And for some of you guys were not at the rehearsal dinner, and so I could just say what I was going to say, and you guys would, soak it up for the first time. But I'm not going to do that. Because what happened yesterday is my mom got up there first, and for those that were there, I think they can say that everything that Jimmy and I have gotten in terms of our public speaking ability, our ability to get up in front of a crowd, be passionate, share our enthusiasm and our love, we got from our mother, Gloria. She was absolutely, I'm just going to hear some out in the way of Pandush because he doesn't want me blocking. She was absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. She looked beautiful. She looks beautiful again today. We are so very lucky that she is our mother. And she knocked it out of the park. And so as soon as she knocked it out of the park, I said, damn it. This is not good. The other thing that was listening to her talk, I said to myself, I guarantee you at my wedding, she's never going to say those nice things about me. I hope so. I hope so. Then Andy gets up. Where's Andy at? Where's Andy? Okay. Andy is one of Jimmy's closest friends. And I thought, listen, I can't go for the sentimental speech anymore because my mom took that away from me. I got to go for the funny speech. And if you know Andy, he gets up there and he just kills it. I mean, everybody is rolling laughter. It's like his own comedy show. I'm going, all right, son of a bitch. So I go, okay. I'll channel my dad. I've got this message from my dad. I'll bring this to the equation. And then there we are at the wedding. Jimmy's vows are being read. And what does he do? He uses the line. Be happy. And all I can think to myself is, I'm done. So I thought, okay, I got to come up with something else. So when I looked around the room here, and I thought about all the people that were there, I actually went back to something that took place during the bachelor party. Now I know that one of the rules of a best man speech is absolutely do not talk about the bachelor party. And I promise you, Gerta, it was all above board. But I'm gonna single him out. I told him yesterday, but Jeff Shatner was at the bachelor party, and we're playing a game called Kings. And in this game, you can make up rules. How many people in here have played a drinking game called Kings? They've made up rules. Okay, probably most of the younger people. I guarantee you they have. And Shatner's rule was, when you had to drink, you had to say one of the things you loved about Jim. And I thought to myself, going, dude, we're at a bachelor party. What's going on? I'm like, this is a little deep. I mean, I love my brother a lot. I don't want to go there right now. But Jeff started, and I thought to myself, wow, this is it right here. Because if you look around this room, if you look at his friends, Jimmy has this magnetism about him. Everybody wants to hang out with him. Everybody wants to be his friend. If Jesus Christ was here right now, he'd want to hang out with him. You look at his parties, and when he was younger, he was a little shy. I'm not going to embarrass him and tell about his prom date, but he was a little shy. It took a while to come out a little bit, and then he blossomed into this person that everybody in this room is in love with. Besides, including Gerta, obviously. Didn't even decide. He throws these parties, and every party is packed. I mean, I remember Christmas parties where he had to trim the guest list back because there'd be 100, 200 people. And it wasn't the free alcohol, although he spent like $5 grand on the alcohol. It was always a pretty good, but it was just the fact that people wanted to be around my brother. And the thing that I started figuring out along the way here too, is that people wanted to be around Gerta also. I mean, you look at her family that came from Albania, and you look at all the people that are here, that moved heaven and earth to get here, and everybody wanted to be around Gerta. They wanted to be around Jimmy and Gerta, because they're just something unbelievable. And I gotta say a funny story about Gerta. The first time I met her, it was at a party at Jimmy's house in Royal Oak. Yes, he was at a party. And, Gerta's this beautiful, striking woman. She has these very distinct features, the black hair. Okay, I won't go anywhere else, but the black hair. But she's a beautiful woman. And I remember saying something to Jimmy. I said, who's this girl here? And he's like, oh, this is Gerta. I work with her. She's a friend of mine. And I said, okay, anything else? And he goes, yeah, she's from Albania. I'm like, ooh, Albania? Because I can tell you that growing up, we had some Albanian neighbors. And I remember my dad telling me, whatever you do in life, don't mess with the Albanians. Because they are fucking crazy. It turns out, a lot of times there's stereotypes. You get to know someone, and also those stereotypes go away. And so I wanted to tell my dad, Dad, you are 100% correct. But I love Gerta. I love Gerta so much, and one of the things I love about her is that she came into Jimmy's house and immediately took some wallpaper off of in his kitchen. If you've never been to Jimmy's house before, and I say house because that's all it was like a bachelor pad that had like knitting pictures on the wall that my mom had done when she was like in her 20s. And the most hideous thing you've ever seen is in his kitchen. Up top, there's this border. Remember like borders that became very popular? And if anybody has one in here, it's not 1994 anymore. Get rid of the border. And it was a woman, an old woman, gardening. And this stayed in his house for like 4 years. And finally, Gerta moved in, and within like a month, it was off the walls. I'm thinking, oh, thank God. But the way that she transformed his house, she transformed it. There's a couple times people have said this, but she transformed it into a home. It wasn't about the drinking, the parties anymore. I mean, I remember being up in the bathroom and there's like potpourri. I'm like, oh my God, it smells nice in here. I'm like, what happened? She was like, oh, that was Gerta. She put some potpourri in the upstairs bathroom.
Just like that, dude.
It was like soap, you wash your hands, and there's towels to dry your hands. She came in and she made it a home for both of them. And what she's really done more than anything is so many people talked about it this weekend, just about the capacity to love. And that's the thing that I'm so unbelievably impressed with Gerta, is that she just has a heart that is so big that, I mean, she loves every single person in here as intensely as you will ever want to be loved. And the good news is that she loves Jimmy about twice, maybe even 10 times as much as all of that combined. And I think he is so unbelievably lucky because he's waited, he's bided his time. I will never say that my brother had something missing in his life. I know I was talking to Gerta a couple weeks ago, we were at a soccer game, and she said, oh, I hope we don't have one of those ones where he was alone and someone came, and finally I filled the gap in his life. And that's not what it is at all, because my brother was never alone. You look out of this room, he has so many friends and so many people love him. But he didn't have that partner to share everything with, and now he does. He has this incredibly beautiful, loving, caring, passionate, kind person that is going to be with him every step of the way. And as my mom talked about yesterday, both families have run into some struggles, and there's going to be those times in life. And I know 100% that I'm not going to have to be there to pick up my brother because Gerta's going to be there to pick him up. Of course, I will be there to pick up my brother because that's just what brothers do. He's done a pretty good job of that himself. But I think there's just, I mean, I thought so hard about this speech. All I wanted to say is that they are truly lucky to have found each other. Because my brother is the most amazing person I've ever known in my life.
Boy, Mike.
He goes out of his way for everybody. Every single person here could tell a story about something that Jimmy did for them at some point. And, you know, it's not, I think Andy said this yesterday, he didn't want it reciprocated. You know, so many friends out there, if you do something for them, they're just crossing it off. They're like on the checklist. When is it my turn to get back? But Jimmy's not like that. He will do something for you without ever expecting a favor in return. He's been that way for, how old are you, 31? 31 years of his life. I was going to say 34, but that's how old I am. For 31 years of his life, even those little years when he was younger, he was a pain in the ass, he still was a good brother to me, to Johnny, to everybody he came in contact with. He is just one of those people that is so genuinely kind and generous. And I think we are all in this room, we are so lucky to know him, to have him in our life. And we're so lucky to have both of them in our life. And I'm just going to finish with this because I'm kind of like thinking at 12. But I'm going to finish with this. We've had great role models. We have so many different families here. The Spath family, I'm so thankful to our grandparents that raised us and taught Jimmy and me how to be gentlemen. My grandpa Spath, my grandpa Dunn are two of the best gentlemen you'll ever see. I mean, they have lived that way their entire lives, and we both learned from them. We learned from a dad that was a gentleman and that loved with all that capacity. We learned from a brother, and I know, Gerta, that you've learned from your parents because I see in you, and even in Pandouche, I see these two just incredibly amazing people that give themselves, and you would not know how to do that if not taught that, not given a role model. So you've got all these families coming together, the Gaqis, the Spaths, the Dixons, the Dunns. If I'm forgetting anybody, I apologize, but I think that's everybody. You've got these amazing families coming together, and I just want to let you know that for the rest of your life, you guys are always going to be welcome in my house, or my family. So, take your champagne.
Outstanding.
To the bride and groom, to an Albanian and an Irish German. As I learned yesterday from the after the rehearsal, they sure can drink and they sure can party. I knew both these things, but it's going to be one hell of a party the rest of their lives. Cheers.